let me just say a word real quick. I want to just thank everybody for being here today and apologize for being a bit late. We hoped to land at Wise, but the rain and fog kept us out. So we landed at Bristol, and then I wanted to run by our first stop, even though we were late, up at Mountain Rose, and we had a really nice visit up there. But it's good to come out, and I want to maybe sit and visit a little bit after I just say a word. We do these Cabinet Community Days 4 times a year, where we'll come to a different part of the state, and then we'll usually do 4 or 5 or 6 events to learn about issues that are important, meet people, and then have people meet us. And I think it's really important, especially the Cabinet Secretaries are a bunch that get out a lot, but I also think it's important when we do these events, people can match up with, if I have an issue with transportation, now I know who Pierce Homer, the Secretary of Transportation, is, or Tom Morris, who is our Secretary of Education. People know who to match up with. So that's why we come out, and this is we're really looking forward to today. This is the second stop, and we will have 3 more before we head back. But it's good to be out. So tell us what you guys are seeing here.
We have seen a big increase in our unemployment.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen a lot of that. Our job orders, we've not had so many this week. Last week we had quite a few job orders.
You know, all age ranges? Are you seeing particular things that you might not have seen before in this type of economy?
Yeah, it's our big thing here. We take a lot of coal mining claims.
Mm-hmm.
Really older generation.
Right. One of the things that was interesting, we were just talking about it on the way over in the car. This is the longest recession in America since the 1930s. As of March, it became the longest recession. In Virginia, we had the highest unemployment rate at nearly 7% that we've had in probably 20 years. But the differential between the unemployment rate in Southwest and the rest of the state is not near as wide as it was. There were some times in the 70s or 80s where the unemployment rate in Virginia wasn't so high, but the unemployment rate here would have been 15 or 20. In Wise, it's right about the state average. Now in Buchanan, Dickinson, Russell, it's higher. It's low double digits. But we have communities in Southside and even Williamsburg where the unemployment rate was 19, 20, 21% right now. So this recession, it's different around the different parts of the state. But at least the Southwest rates are not so far out of whack with other parts of the state, thank goodness.
6.6.
Yeah.
That's what the
Pretty much what the state averages too. Well, yeah. So how are you guys dealing with the challenge here?
The stimulus package has given our office 3 positions.
That's great.
We have 1 hired and we have 2 more on the way.
Great.
I think our office is doing very well with what we have. I mean, we have a great staff and
who's your senior? Who's been here in this office longest? Is that a bad question? How long?
Brenda Ingram. I've been around for about 40 years.
You've been with the VEC almost 40 years?
Yes, sir.
Oh, my God.
I think Abraham Lincoln was president.
The other thing, you guys have a very unique challenge. We all do with our VEC offices. So maybe some of you know this, some of you might not, and maybe the press, it's a good thing for the press. There's a federal funding formula that really messes Virginia up. So all of our employers pay a federal unemployment tax, and that goes to Washington, and then we only get 25 cents on the dollar back for what our employers send to Washington. Because of this allocation formula that they use up there, our unemployment rate has been about 2 points less than the national average. Whether it's low or whether it's high, we're about 2 points less. And our VEC offices do a really good job. They're very efficient, and our benefit levels are not high compared to other states. So when the federal government gets the checks that Virginia employers write them, they only send us like 25 cents on the dollar back. If we just got 50 cents on the dollar back, we would have about $35 million a year more that we could put into VEC offices, which would mean more staff to deal with people's concerns and issues. So we've been working in Congress, and Rick has worked very hard on this, and others have too, to try to get the formula changed so that we, if you have to have a different formula, that's fine, but let's at least get 50 cents on the dollar back. The problem was there was only about 10 states like Virginia that weren't getting much, and 40 states liked the formula just fine. It's now gotten to the point where we have more allies, and so this is something that we're working on with the new administration, and with Congress is if we can make an adjustment to that funding formula. Because I know, the VEC offices, the staffing has been tightening. We've had to look at some facilities closing. Like, where would be the nearest VEC office to here? Cedar Bluff. And so if this one wasn't open, that's a long trek for somebody to get to Bristol or Cedar Bluff. We've had some parts of the state where the offices are closer together, so we've been able to close one, and it's not such a huge trek to go elsewhere, but it would be very difficult to close any of the offices here because it's, such a long way. So we're wrestling with all these issues, and if we can get that adjustment made at the federal level, it would really help. So that's one of the issues that we're working on, to try to, create a little breathing space for these offices. And Governing Magazine says we're the best managed state in America. In 2000, they do this every 3 years. 2005, when Governor Warner was governor, they did a look at all 50 states. Virginia's the best managed state, tied with Utah. 2008, they did it again. Best managed state in America, tied with Utah and Washington. What they do is they grade you on 4 categories. Infrastructure, that was our weak grade. We got a B+ in infrastructure. And I think we didn't earn an A in infrastructure. I think that's an area where we got more work to do. Managing money, got an A-. That's a very good grade. That would put us in the top 5 in the country in budgeting and things like that. Information, how we use data to make decisions. Do we just do what we feel is right, or do we really study and use data to make decisions and then give that information to citizens? We got an A in that with 3 other states in the country. But our one grade where we were the top and nobody touched us was people. People was the 4th category. We got the only A, not A-, A for people, and no other state did. Because the team that came out and looked at Virginia looked at the kind of people we hire, the kind of opportunities for training and advancement that we offer, the talent pool that we draw from, and the human resource policies we have, and said that of all, not that we can't be better, we can always be better, but that of all the states, Virginia was #1 when it came to people. And that's why we were able to say we're best managed state in the United States. If I could be top in any of the 4 categories, that's the one that I want to be top on, but that's a tribute to y'all. I think we have, I do believe we've had a tradition of good governors, and one of them was my father-in-law, Linwood Holton from Big Stone Gap, who was a fantastic governor from 1970 to 74. But governor can do a lot of things, but there's nothing a governor can do that's going to create success unless you got great state employees and great local officials and businesses who are working together to do good things. So the accolades that we have been getting as a state government are heavily attributable to people who work for the state, at VECs, at DRSs. I ran into somebody in Florida last weekend who was talking to me about a relative of theirs who had been at the Woodrow Wilson Rehab Center in Fishersville, and how that was just a transformative experience in their life, and that they didn't even know it existed, and here's this state facility in Fishersville that helped them get rehabbed after an accident to a place where they could get a good job and and work and be really productive. And so whether it's DRS or VEC or our state parks employees or school, we just got a lot of really great people with state government. So it's been an honor to be governor for 3.5 years. I told that Bud heard me say this once before, but I had an interesting experience this week, which was that tells you your time of governor is getting to be over. I met with my portrait painter for the first time. I was kind of like, wow, I guess I'm not going to be governor that much longer. But it's been a blast. And the time that I spent here in Southwest, especially given that my wife's father was raised in Big Stone, and we have a lot of family in Big Stone, and Big Stone, Beckley, St. Paul, Abingdon, Roanoke, it's really great to come back. I always feel very welcome. So you guys keep up your